Hello, my name is Kensani Sitolepito. I am 22 years old. I live with my parents. It's just the three of us, and I'll be taking you down through my lupus journey. Okay, it all started when I was around 5 or 6 years old. I used to get like minor nosebleeds then. Then in 2014, when I was 15, they got really mild. So I'd bleed like, I don't know how many times a day, and it would be so long. So I'd tell my mom to take me to the doctor, and she'd be like, "No, I used to get nosebleeds when I was younger, your uncle, your grandpa." Like everyone just used to get nosebleeds, and my mom just like shied away from the fact that my situation was serious. So I remember one incident on the 31st of December. I just don't remember which year it was. My nosebleeds got like way out of control because I think it's because of the smoke of the fireworks. So I was taken to hospital. Like my whole shirt was covered in blood because it was just out of control. So when I got there, the doctors didn't know what to do because nobody bleeds the way I did. So I was given iron tablets because they figured maybe my iron's low. That's why I'm having all these nosebleeds. Okay, I felt better. And then in 2015 or 16, I was in grade 10. My nosebleeds started spiraling. Like I'd finish a roll of toilet paper because of nosebleeds. So it got to a point whereby my mom started feeling her, they did this procedure whereby they would burn crystallites and they would burn the blood vessels that had popped in my nose. So they had said that I only needed to do that 3 times and my nosebleeds would stop completely. But that never happened. So they said after doing this procedure 3 times, if I still have nosebleeds, I should come back to the doctor. So I continued having nosebleeds.
It has been a very difficult time when Kensani started with, her sickness. I've been there because she was so young. At first, I didn't know what I'm dealing with. But then I think what helped me was Google. Google is one thing that when a doctor gives you a diagnosis and you don't know what that is, the first thing you do is to go through to Google to check what it meant. I remember the first time when she was hospitalized because of her nosebleed. We were supposed to be in hospital, just for a small procedure. But that evening, she ended up in high care. I remember I called one of my colleagues because I left the office to say I'm taking Kensani to a hospital. They are just going to do, something which will take less than 30 minutes. But when we got to the hospital, the doctor then advised that because already he had done the 2 nostrils, he will not be comfortable to do it again. Rather, he wanted to take him to theater to see what is wrong with his nostrils. And then everything was done, like, the check-in that normally happens when you go to hospital. And then she was taken into a ward. And then bloods were taken from her as a procedure. And then in about 2 to 3 hours, 3 doctors then came in and said they wanted to perform a biopsy. And I was like surprised, and they said no, it's because her platelets are low. At that time, I've never heard of, platelets. Maybe it's my ignorance. But then the doctor then called me to the nurses station. One doctor called me to the nurses station to explain what that meant. He then said to me, a normal person has 150,000 to 450,000 counts of platelets, and Nkenzani had 0 at the time. I didn't know what to do. And he said to me, they can't continue with the procedure because should it happen that they cut her and she starts bleeding, they might not be able to stop the bleeding. That's how dangerous the whole thing was. And she said to me, your daughter is very sick. You must understand that. So we are moving her from a normal ward to high care because we must give her more platelets, and then we must also, do a biopsy on her to check on her blood cells. I was very nervous. I called one of my colleagues and I explained. I called my husband. I explained, but even the explanation, I didn't know what to say or how to craft it because I didn't understand what was happening. I remember going into one of the bathrooms and I was crying because after I had Googled what platelets are and why a person should be having like 150, I was very nervous. So I went into one of the bathrooms and I cried thereafter because I needed to be strong for her. She didn't know that she's got 0 platelets, I think, at the time, because I was afraid to tell her. I then went into the bathroom. I cried. Thereafter, I rinsed my face and I went back and pretended as if everything was fine. She asked me, she said, "Mom, were you crying?" And I said, "No. It's just that I'm a little bit stressed. That the doctor has just informed me that they are taking you to high care, so I'm just concerned." Luckily, at that time, the schools, I think, were closing, so she wasn't going to miss a lot in terms of, her studies. And then that was the beginning.
One of the symptoms of what I was diagnosed with is that I would bruise easily, and I would always be tired, and the nosebleeds as well. So this disease is called ITP, which stands for idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura. So they just call it ITP because it's basically low platelets, and I needed a blood transfusion and platelets are really rare to find because it's not every day whereby somebody's diagnosed with ITP. So that was my first diagnosis in 2016. I had a what's it saying? Your life is a roller coaster. Yeah, my life was a roller coaster in 2018. The first event that took place was when I was diagnosed with endometriosis. This is the case whereby a cyst grows on your ovaries. Well, I had cysts in both ovaries. One was 5 centimeters and one was 3, I think, but they were both just too big for average size ovaries. So I went for surgery for that and I felt better, and throughout the year I was healthy. I was okay, and now things started going the other way. So I remember my mom and I went on a cruise ship. So we got to Durban on the 26th of November, and we went to China Mall, and while I was there I had these minor chest pains and I just didn't know why. But I thought because it's Chinatown, it's dusty, I might have inhaled a lot of dust, and So when you go back to the hotel, I told her that I wanted to take a nap. Maybe I'll wake up feeling better. And yes, I did wake up feeling better. The next day, we boarded ship, and I was okay the first day. The second day, in the morning, I had minor chest pains, but I was like, maybe I'm seasick, I don't know. So at night, that's when like things were not going right. I'd get so sick, I'd get chest pains, but while I was at it, I thought maybe I'm seasick. So I took these pills that you take when you're on a boat, so that I don't know what they do, but they're like seasick pills. I don't know what they're called. So I took those pills and I was fine in the morning. On the last day, that's when like everything just went upside down. I remember that day, I was so much in pain that I couldn't even find my room. I was actually crawling to my room because I was just in so much pain. Like it was unbearable. So the next day, when we were I forgot, but when you're getting off the boat, I was really, really sick. So while my mom's friends, we were on the cruise with my mom's friends. So while they went to Ushaka Marine to go swim, we were looking for a hospital. That's just how bad it was. So while we were on the ship, we met up with some doctor, and he's like, no, maybe she just needs rest. So while we were in Ushaka Marine, we bumped into him again, and then we told him, no, I'm still not feeling well. And he's like, maybe you have heartburn, just go buy milk. So we went around Durban looking for milk and looking for like a doctor that could help us. I remember my mom even climbed a taxi for the first time in her life.